Hi, Bothered Brigade. Here's what's bothering me today. This is again going to be a quick one because there's two that I'd like to try and get out before the end of the year. One of which is the now very overdue one about how I caused a a very small, mild right-wing conspiracy theory here in Canada. And the other is about all the terrible COVID news recently about basically the US and many other places kind of just giving up, including here in Canada. And while I want to do more of a deep dive on that and, sort of show some elements of hope there, I wanted to bring that up today because a lot of this is stuff I'm seeing today, and I want to remind people that there is still hope. Here in the back on this, not entirely finished bookshelf are a bunch of different books of a bunch of different genres. We got Russian writers, we got Atlas Obscura. Maybe you can see that there's a few in there, like sort of more hopeful ones like All We Can Save and The World in 2050. And the other book that I've talked about before, Everything's Fucked, and, kind of how to fix that to an extent, right? And so I want to talk about my recent experience with, yesterday's video or the video from the day before, whichever it was. Time is a fuck right now, but it was a video just talking and ranting about how annoying it is trying to work within the confines of a capitalist system while I, a, frontline or essential worker, am still, trying to do the stuff to keep the system chugging along. And yet I can't be afforded the time, space, and opportunity to actually get safe with a booster shot. And, we've had a year. Our governments are failing. Again, this is stuff we're going to touch on in the really big video, as it were. But I want to talk about what happened after that video. There were lots of people from this community and also just other strangers on the internet who happened to see it, who wasted no time in offering help and support. Sure, there were a couple other just terrible people and anti-vaxxers, but that's to be expected at this point. But there were people, both in this community and not, who said, hey, how can I help? I'll, search for vaccines for you, give me your postal code or whatever, or sending pictures of cats or saying, oh, I heard that this might be a possibility. Have you tried this and that? So yeah, some of those I'd already tried. Unfortunately, I kind of made that right after trying a lot of different things, but it was still really encouraging to see people both in my community and who didn't know who the hell I was and what I do. They wanted to show help and support. That is the hope. That is what we have to hold on to and remind ourselves of. As much as all this terrible news, Biden basically giving up on a federal structure, so, good luck, may the odds be ever in your favor in a red state, basically. With that utter abdication of leadership from our supposed leaders, not only does that mean we should hold them to account, both in the election and also just make their actual lives a living goddamn nightmare, but it reminded us that we are the people who have to make this happen, and it's we, the people, who are beginning to make it happen. Whether they were in my community or not, offering to try and find bookings, talk to people, provide some kind of support or space for venting. It was just really good to see and be reminded of the actual goodness of humanity. Never mind our inhumane leaders, but our people in our community. So as much as I know the situation looks really dire, and let's be frank, it is, there is a light to be found there within the community and people actually wanting to help those, whether they're, next door neighbors or thousands of miles away. That is a beautifully human experience. And I think we all need to remind ourselves of that, because we aren't going to get any of this kind of help from our leaders, but we are going to get it from each other. And it was a really good reminder to see that. But at the same time, the fact that we aren't getting this from our supposed leaders and democratic representatives is definitely one of the many things that is what's bothering me today.